to Unstuck and Alive. I'm Todd Pinkston.
And I'm Stephen Neuner.
We have watched it happen.
Fear gives way to faith.
Isolation melts into belonging.
The stuck places break open and life begins to flow again.
On this show, we sit around the fire, so to speak, and listen to the real stories of everyday heroes.
Men and women who have found freedom and stepped into the unforced purpose they were made for.
If you're tired of striving, if you're longing to breathe deep, break free, and come alive again, then you're in the right spot. This is Unstuck and Alive. Let's go.
Welcome, guys. Another great episode of Unstuck and Alive. I'm super excited to be here with you today. Today's guest is someone who truly lives the thesis of what we're talking about here, Unstuck and Alive. I met Ryan Henry through Strategic Coach a while back, and what started as just a personal connection, just kind of that intimacy you find when you meet people that are on the same wavelength, became a relationship, a great friendship built on purpose, freedom, and impact. And so, I mean, it's just been a true blessing. Ryan's going to tell you a lot more about himself, but he's an expert EOS implementer, visionary of Entrepreneurial Leap, which I believe he co-founded with Gino Wickman. He's a co-founder of Entrepreneurial Media Company. His story just runs the gamut. He's been a Marine, an award-winning developer. Now he's creating global impact in the entrepreneurial community. But at the heart of all of it, he's a great husband, father. He's all about breaking free from traps and helping people build businesses that serve their lives, not the other way around. With that, I'm just super excited to introduce my friend, Ryan Henry. Welcome, Ryan.
Hey, Steve. It's great to be with you. Todd, great to be with you too, brother.
Absolutely, Ryan. Great to have you on.
Ryan, for those who don't know your story, I'm curious about your journey of purpose. Like, when did it begin? What early experiences have shaped the way that you even think of freedom today, which I know is important to you?
Yeah, freedom's huge. We had some technical difficulties. We had to reset this. So I've actually already answered this question once. And I said it could be
work its way back in here, okay?
Or 7 days, maybe even 7 years to talk about this. This is a big subject. So, man, when I think about freedom and leadership and what's impacted me, I celebrated my 47th birthday last week. So you're talking about 47 years of my life. I think I've always been in search of who I am. And I've always been in search of what am I supposed to do about that? And what do I want to do? I've always wanted to do what I've wanted to do. And so, we met each other in Strategic Coach. Dan Sullivan says, great leaders are great wanters. What do you want? So that was a freedom unlock for me. But when I think about freedom, I just think about purpose. I think about my relationship with God. And that was one of the first places I really had true awakening of, oh, wait a minute. I am built by someone. I've been created by somebody. I have a purpose. And so, I think of the listeners right now, like you're created with purpose. And so there's this general purpose. I would just call it to shine, to be thy true self. Gino calls it to let your freak flag fly. Dan Sullivan calls it your unique ability. You could call it sweet spot. I think it's all of that in a bag of chips. And I think about 40 years of becoming who I am. I've always been who I am. I think a big part of the freedom for me has just been to accept who I am, to know, we talk about entrepreneurship. In that regard, as a leader, these are my traits. This is how I was made. I'm a visionary. I'm a passionate person. I'm a problem solver. I'm a driven. I'm a risk taker. I take full responsibility. And I think about freedom. I think about who am I? I think about identity. I think about now in life, I think a lot about mastery. That's like the big thing that I think a lot about is just life mastery. And so, of course, I'm an entrepreneur, so there's an identity piece there. And that brings a lot of freedom, just to know who I am and to not feel like I have to be somebody else other than who I am.
Yeah.
But I'll stop there because I know we can double click into a lot
Yeah.
of things I just said.
Well, and what I love about that is like I think you're sharing something that's a really great insight and great clarity. What I would love is just if you were to kind of go back and think about some of the pivotal pieces where that became conscious to you, because I think, hey, this is the mountaintop and this is a really cool place, but like I'm sure that self-discovery has not come just you didn't just transport an elevator up there.
Oh, not even close. So I would say that much of my early youth, although I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, my mom and my father are both entrepreneurs. And when I really think about their parents, they were all entrepreneurs. And some of my grandparents' parents were entrepreneurs. And so what's interesting about that statement is I was immersed around entrepreneurs. My family had 4 lumber yards, 9 shoe stores, real estate, and of course, all of their friends were entrepreneurs. And so I was around a lot of entrepreneurs. Most of my friends growing up in high school are now entrepreneurs. But no one talked about that. No one said that word entrepreneur. Hey, Ryan, you know what you are? You know what? You're kind of spazzy, silly, and serious all at the same time. Hey, you're an entrepreneur. So most of my early, pre-middle school, then into middle school and high school time frame was a feeling that I was a derelict or something was wrong with me, or I was just very misguided because I didn't have a guidance in there. And so there was a lot of angst in there. There was a lot of rebellion in there. There was a lot of just heartache, feeling like something actually was wrong, in fact, wrong with me. So the first discovery for me in my journey was at 18, which was discovering and knowing the human God-man Jesus. Like that was a massive unlock for me in understanding who I am and whose I am and understanding freedom. One of my favorite scriptures is Jesus quoting the Isaiah scripture as he starts his ministry. I've come to set the captives free. And so, really since 18 years old, that's what I've been pursuing. And I've been teaching what I've needed the most, which is freedom as a human. And then there's this period where I had this really interesting time. I'm in the Marine Corps. I learned to take personal responsibility. I learned that kind of identity. It's a unique military service because it's an identity. People would still say you are still a Marine. And so one of the big pieces there was this ideation of semper fidelis, always faithful, and to stay in the trench. And that I still carry that to this day. I think about my early times in construction. I worked for 2 owner-operator entrepreneurs, and I learned a lot about not only pouring concrete and excavation, but just working really hard as an entrepreneur and seeing that kind of life. And then when I started my own construction company and development company, I was just enamored with learning. I mean, this isn't like fake. This is real books here. Like I've always been enamored with education and understanding who I am and again, that level of mastery. But I have to tell you, another real big touch point was this ideation of taking risks. I was in the vineyard movement for 7 years, and John Wimber always used to say that faith is spelled R-I-S-K. And so I think a big part of my identity as a risk taker, as an entrepreneur, and as a human is embracing that belief in the future and that my past does not dictate my future. In fact, it's just a learning. So there's that. And then I'll just say a couple of things and I want to stop because I could continue. Like I said, I could talk about this for 7 days or 7 years. My introduction to Gino Wickman, who is my business partner and my mentor. In 2008, I was introduced to the Entrepreneur Operating System. Now, the operating system was fantastic for our business, but I would say it was more even impactful for me as an entrepreneur because it was like, oh, wow, if I just do these prescriptive things, stuff works. And I just knew there was something deeper about what he was talking about that was beyond a level 10 meeting or setting a rock. There was this way of life. And I wanted to have that kind of way of life because I had seen so many entrepreneurs that were very dear to me, including myself, who just did not live that great of a life with their purpose. Most entrepreneurs, the gifts we get are, bad broken relationships or divorce, addictions, and you name it, it's all across the gamut. Depression, anxiety, we see it all over the place, and bankruptcy, financial difficulties. And so, when I say I have this illustrious background with entrepreneurship, open honest, those are the four things I look back and see, both in my life and in many of those people's lives. So when I think about freedom, I want to pursue freedom from that. I want to help people experience that. I want to help coach them in that. I want to help facilitate them in that. And that fulcrum moment for that as an entrepreneur, was in a crisis moment, was 2008. That's when I got introduced to EOS and Gino. So that's been about 17 years. And so now it's really, for me, it's all about letting go of everything except my unique ability and what I'm good at, and helping people, helping entrepreneurs accept that that's okay. Particularly as an entrepreneur that helps entrepreneurs in the making and early stage entrepreneurs, just less than 10 people. Those are the hardest days because they're doing everything. And that's where dreams really die really quick, because it's just so hard to get a company off the ground in the early days. So my passion, when I talk about purpose, my passion is really simple. It's just transforming entrepreneurs' lives. And I just think about the full kaleidoscope about our business, our life. It's who we are. And so my passion is really going deeper into that world and seeking and finding freedom. I suppose that's, of course, why we're here today to talk about that kind of stuff. But that's my life. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm still walking around.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Brian, thanks for sharing that. So when you first started, you made the statement, I've always been, but I've learned to accept. And
Right.
man, I think that's a great, just picture of what it looks like to, and you used a lot of different words of unique ability or find ourselves or, my sweet spot. But then you talked about growing up and feeling unique. And then you started filling that in with, we would call them lies of oh, I'm weird. I'm not like other people. And those lies drive us. And even after 18, it's you're unlocked freedom in Christ, but those lies still carry on. It's not like the full old is gone. So talk about that journey of discovering my weirdness is actually my uniqueness. And it doesn't, yes, we're all different and we can fill that in with, I'm different and weird. The statement, I'm not like anybody else, is yeah, it's true. But we oftentimes carry the negative narrative. So what has that looked like for you to start to carry the positive in that, to accept who you are? Maybe even what are some of the big benchmarks from 18 to where you are now, where those things clicked and you found clarity?
Man, it's such a great question. Yeah. One of the big unlocks was reading more recent. I'll stay recent. Was when Gino wrote the book Entrepreneurial Leap, which I now help create an Entrepreneurial Leap Academy out of, and raise up mentors to help entrepreneurs. And I'll come back to why I said that with that discovery. So I'm an EOS implementer. I sell my real estate development and construction company. I've been an implementer for about not that long, maybe 6-7 months. And I'm at one of our, what we call a quarterly collaborative exchange. All the implementers get together. It's phenomenal. We just have an absolute blast. I love my implementer community. Hey, if you're listening out there, what's happening? Implementers. We're doing God's work. It's really good stuff. But I'm in this QCE and Gino stands up and he's got this book in his hand. And he's like, hey, I wrote this book for my 18-year-old self. And as soon as he said that, it was it just hit me in the heart so deep, because there was this echo from when I was a kid, this echo from when I was 18 and I came to Christ, joined the Marines, got married at 21, became an ordained minister. That's in my story too. So there's all these different things of pursuing freedom and identity. And he goes, I wrote this for my 18-year-old self who was a mislabeled derelict, thought something was wrong with him. I'm like, whoa. What did you just say? And I walked right up to him after he said it. And I was like, whatever this is about, I want to be all in on it. Now, that was a bold part of me. That's my 9 quick start, or my Colby quick start. It's my 9, this change agent, right? This a desire to see something come forth. I knew he was up to something, like something leapt in my soul, if you will. And I was like, oh, there's something there. And really what it was now looking back was I'm like, oh, I'm not just here to know Gino to be an implementer. I'm here to help him take that message to entrepreneurs who don't know who they are, that think something is wrong with them. Now, there's that part of it, but I want to be completely candid. There was this other part of it because he was talking about there's this assessment to determine if you are a true entrepreneur or not. And I have to be completely candid with you. I was scared out of my mind to take that assessment because I thought, oh, maybe if I take this assessment, it'll tell me this is the lie, that I really don't have what it takes to become a successful entrepreneur because I'm actually I'm not an entrepreneur. Maybe that's the real issue. Maybe all the failures that I saw and the risk taking I took, it was just all stupid. It was all toxic and dumb because I don't have what it takes to become a successful entrepreneur because I'm not an entrepreneur. And I'm like, oh. And I remember now check this out. So I have this moment. I'm scared out of my mind, but I'm looking at Gino going, I think this is what I should do with you. Okay. What a weird juxtaposition. So I get the book. I take the assessment. You should take it. It's called the Entrepreneur in the Making Assessment. It'll help you determine if you are, in fact, an entrepreneur or not. It's a great, amazing thing. I scored 100%. 100%. Okay. Like I'm answering every question. Are you a risk taker? Yes. Are you rebellious? Yes. Are you individualistic? Yes. Like all the questions, I'm just like pegged on the side of yes. Strongly agree. And I thought, wow, I still hadn't reconciled that yet. Here I am, this award-winning entrepreneur, award-winning projects, an implementer, helping other entrepreneurs. And I still have the head trash. I still have the lie echoing in me. And bro, I'm like 43 years old or something like that at the time. And so that's just a recent thing. And that right there is what sparked this desire to take this book that Gino wrote as like a form of mentoring to teach people what he needed the most and go, we got to take this beyond just a book and turn it into a program and turn it into an academy and help these entrepreneurs. And so it's one of the first things we teach in the academy. Like, you're an entrepreneur. Let's deal with that right here, right now. Let's put a stake in the ground. This is who you are. Because it's funny, I'll go through it in the academy and I can see these entrepreneurs like, I want to get priorities done. I need some processes. I need to do rocks, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah. Hold on. You're an entrepreneur. The dream that's in you, it can happen. You have these traits. You're just not good at them. Just because you have the trait doesn't mean you've mastered it. Just because you're visionary doesn't mean you have good vision and you know how to use it well. And so that's a really interesting discovery that I've had very recently, candidly, that's given me a passion to really unlock what I would say has been happening really since I was conscious about freedom.
So Ryan, if I could follow up on that's awesome. I mean, thank you, dude. That's awesome. That's that's resonating with me. I guess just to take it more broadly, even when you're having that realization, right? And like this discovery, it doesn't go away, right? So what are the ways, like if you look at the game footage, when does that show up for you still? When do you have to what are the signals that the lie's creeping back in and then you have to replace it with truth? And I'm thinking about and how does it affect you? Because there are other people, I think there's a lot of different things that could replace that, right? Like I'll never be, with my family background, like I'll never be successful at marriage, right? Like we're just, the brokenness is bound to continue. I mean, you could replace that with a lot of things. So I'd love it if you would just share sort of what are the ways it shows up, what are signals, and how has it affected you? Because it's sort of the hidden being revealed there.
Yeah, for sure is the hidden being revealed. And it's easy to allow the daily problems, your own drive that can just, kind of drive you crazy because we can get a little OCD and workaholic and what have you. And so the best way to answer that question is to stay, for me at least, to stay in those traits. Like, okay, My visionary, because I'm a serial entrepreneur, my visionary without being master can get me in a lot of trouble because I can pursue ideas that are really not smart, that actually can get me stuck and not bring freedom. And so a big part of it is slowing down and understanding the why behind some of these ideas before I even take them to an integrator. On the passion side, my passion can get me in trouble too because it comes from a place of pain. We talk about passion, it comes from suffering. So seeing my suffering as a gain and not as the gap that keeps me away. But it shows up there. It always shows up there. There's always a pushback. There's always a tension there. It's always an in breaking. Like it doesn't change. As an implementer, we teach something called hitting the ceiling. We do this in coach too. And hitting the ceiling is inevitable. Even when you break through the ceiling, there's going to be another ceiling. And so the ceilings show up for me and I recognize them in my traits. So I love to solve problems, but let's be candid, daily 6 to 10 problems every single day for the rest of your life. Whew, if you lose the passion side, man, those problems will overwhelm you. They'll stack up. And so there's times where I lose touch with my passion. I lose touch with transforming my own life. And I can get really stuck in the problems and not solve them. I love solving them. I get a high off solving them. That's fantastic. Solving the problem is fantastic. But getting stuck in the problem and not solving it is a big one. The 3 others are just the rest of the traits, which is, my drive is crazy. Like I can drive myself literally crazy with how driven I am for what I want to see, the fire that is inside of me. And so sometimes it's just hard to turn off. And I mean, every day. I have a rule to be done at 6 p.m., but gosh, man, I can get rolling and man, I don't want to stop, my risk taking can get me in a lot of trouble, has got me in a lot of trouble because I'm like, let's just do it. So learning how to stay more calculated with my risk taking and have good partners that can navigate me and slow me down like, whoa, cowboy, what are you talking about? But my responsibility can show up in really negative ways too. Like, it's like obsessive compulsiveness almost. Almost like I don't blame anybody. I blame myself so hard. I don't just let it go and forgive myself. And so sometimes I can be so hard on myself when it comes to not achieving something I want to achieve. So I would just say those are daily things that show up. And for me, the antidote to it is awareness. It's just awareness. It's being still. It's taking time to think. And so if I'm not aware of it, it can emotionally get you going. And I think that's why most entrepreneurs struggle. I know that's why I struggle, because I can get caught up in the emotion of it and not just be thinking and aware of it. So hopefully that gives you some clarity about at least how I think about it and see it.
That's good. Ryan, will you dive more into kind of the personal, you just talked about pausing and gaining perspective. What about more personally, like what are the rhythms you have in your life to keep you grounded in your faith, to keep you connected to your family, to continue to provide clarity to know, is this a good risk? Is this a bad risk? Like we're not going to nail them all, but what is the daily and the weekly rhythm look like for you in your world?
Yeah, well, I'll answer one of the easiest questions, which has been so freeing for me, which is every single idea I have, opportunity I want to pursue, something I want to talk about, problem I want to solve, an obstacle I see ahead of us. Those are the 5 things we call issues in EOS. I give them all to my integrators. And so I just give them to my partners. And so I'm a partner person. I love doing things in partnership. It's how I'm built. And I don't do anything without that kind of feedback and insight and same pagedness, whether it's with my integrator or it's with my business partners. Now, I'm not always good at that, but man, it's freeing because then I don't feel like I have to control it and pull it off and just get in a really kind of crazy place there. So that's the biggest thing, is just to put it on an issues list, 2 to 3 words, let it go, and then go, all right, let's talk about it. I'm totally open. I could be completely wrong. What do you think? Here's what I honestly think, but what do you think? Brave one left, we say. So that's that huge. Like that, man, That is the best thing, because then I want to make sure we can create something together. I love to create things, and I want to create together. I want to create it together. So, and then if it's right, we'll coach through it as leaders, and then we'll collaborate with people in doing it. My daily rhythms, though, I just wake up at 5 every day, and I have this time. I just call it me time from 5 to 8. Like my Ryan light doesn't turn on for business until 8 o'clock. I just don't talk to anybody. I don't schedule meetings. I don't text anybody. I'm thinking. I spend time doing clarity breaks, doing thinking time every morning as I work out, I read, I do a devotional. I have a whole rhythm of how I do what I do, and it's a routine. And I have fallen in love with the process of my routine. And one of the things that's the best to do is I just wake up and I listen to a book every morning. I listen to First 15 every morning, and I start my day with clarity. I just get it all out of me. That's the best thing I do, is I just get all the stuff out of me. I literally have a whiteboard in my garage that I've turned into my workout room. And whatever comes up, I just write that sucker down. And then at 8 o'clock, I give it all to my assistant. She starts to sort it out. So that's part of my daily routine. I have a couple other routines that I do. I have an evening routine that I do. Turn everything off at 8 o'clock. I just start reading. But, my wife and I have a routine too. Like every Friday, we take a date night. It has been the best thing for us. It's a place to connect. We turn everything off. It's just how we live. And then I'm a homebody. Like on the weekends, I just want to hang out at home, just chill. I like to just hang out. I drive pretty hard during the week. So that's just some stuff I do. I'll tell you one little thing I do that people think is really weird to help me stay focused and routine is my phone is always in do not disturb. Always. Never's off. Do not disturb. And I also am off social media entirely. I just wanted to live like I lived in the 80s and 90s as a kid. And so I have no social media. I'm fully unplugged. So I'm kind of goofy and quirky like that, but I got all these little things I do that just help me stay free. Just help me stay out of the gap,
I love that. And so you interact with a ton of entrepreneurs. You see them fall into the pitfalls. What traps do you feel like catch more people than anything else? What things keep them from transitioning, as you have said, from becoming to accepting who they are?
The two big words that come up to me are fear and control.
God, that's great.
It's just,
say more.
The opposite of that is love and release. So you could call it surrender. And so as an EOS implementer, I see visionaries come in there and they are so wired up. I call it vision stunted, because their vision isn't actualized. There's no integration of it. They know what they want, but it's not happening. And so that frustration leads them to go, I can't let go of anything. I'm just going to take it off. And they just start taking everything. Because nobody else can do it. I got to do it. And I'm like, oh man, I know, I totally get it. I completely get it. And so that fear of letting go, and then that control, and that's, as an entrepreneur, you're a big L. You're no M. You're no A. What I mean by that is you're a big leader. You got ideas and relationships and problem solving, and you're a hunter, and you function on emotion and intuition and your gut. And we go, God, there's a seat for you. Just go sit in that seat and let's go master that seat. Go join coach, all that kind of stuff, and let go. Find an integrator who does lead with you, who can get on the same page with you and go, I got you. I got it. Give me the issue. I got it. But they manage everybody. They create an environment of accountability for the major functions of your company and you. And so that's from a business perspective, just to how to manage that and let that go. It's just put love in it. Love your people. Love your people. Give it to them. Let them take it. They're going to be way better at it than you are. So seeing that fear, man, that fear and control, whew, And now, I've never seen an entrepreneur stay with fear and control and solve what they want to solve. Let's put it that way. Never seen it happen. Because what they really want to solve isn't the rock or the to-do or the scorecard number. It's something deeper inside, and they're avoiding it in their busyness. Dallas Willard, the theologian, he passed, but he had a great quote. And fear and control, I think, does this for visionaries, which is busy. And Dallas said that some say that busyness is of the devil, but I say that busyness is the devil. And that fear and control creates a busyness inside an entrepreneur that I think burns them out and really hurts them. I know it has for me. But I think the deeper work is the fear, if they let go of the busy, that they have to confront themselves and address what's really going on inside of them. And I know that was true of me as well.
What about personal? So, I mean, obviously there's business. And I know a lot of people are coming in with the context of probably, I have this idea, I want to build the business, right? Yeah. How often do you find that they don't have a context of how it fits into their overall life and what, talk about that a little bit more.
This is great because it's like therapy. So it's my own life, and then I'm teaching what I learned the most and I needed the most. So referring to my mentor, Gino, he talks about it as tenure thinking and then having a 10-year target in your business. And those two things many times are so incongruent between their personal life and their professional life. Meaning, like for me, like no theory, just my own self. I had to come to the realization that what was in my mind and what was in my heart to build was completely unclear to my wife. And based on previous failures and experiences, her own trauma was kicking in every time I wanted to pursue a new venture or take on something new. She was like, oh no, it's going to look like that, because she had no context of what, one, I had learned that would never happen again. And two, what it actually was I was pursuing and how it meant to impact her life. And so the two things I've learned myself that I teach every entrepreneur is to reconcile that with getting very, very crystal clear about simplifying what is the most important goal you want to pursue over the next 10 years. And of course, when that happens, time slows down. You make better decisions. You calm yourself down. Because most entrepreneurs, let's be candid, are trying to accomplish their 10-year target in the first year of their business.
Of course. Right?
1
year? What the heck? I thought it was like a month. Come on, dude.
Golly, how else could you possibly pursue it? I mean,
let's go right now. Like, just come on. They just start yelling at everybody. And I'm like, I don't think that's working, bro. Like, that's not helping anybody. They're just scared of you. They're intimidated. So what they actually do is they don't help. They go, oh, okay. And then the person's like, well, fine. If you guys are going to do it, I'll just do it. They just scare everybody, right? And so, getting really clear about that, it just solves so many things. But then going, all right, well, hold on. Let me think about everything that I want from my life in 10 years. And I like to simplify things in threes. So when I think about 10-year thinking, I want to live a peaceful, prosperous, private life. And then I go, well, wait a minute. I want to live a peaceful, prosperous, private life right now. Okay, so I'm going to live my future self now. Ben Hardy talks about that. Be your future self now. Seeing yourself in the future, becoming that person in the future. I mean, that's Jesus's prayer. Let the kingdom come. Let the inbreaking of heaven show up in the now. And so that's what I want, man. I want the now to look like the future. And so what I see entrepreneurs do is they never talk to their spouses about that kind of stuff. And they don't create just a narrative of what life's going to look like in 10 years. And they're not on the same page. And there's this internal war, not only at home, but inside the entrepreneur. And it doesn't give them a freedom to pursue it because they know they're not reconciled. They're not whole. They're not integrated at home. There's not a full integration. So,
or worse yet. Yeah. And worse yet, so oftentimes they're unaware of it. Right?
Oh, they're completely unaware of it.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
most
issue.
people, once that light comes on, they want to reconcile it if those are priorities to them. But it's surprising me how often, what a gift to be able to for the blind again to be revealed and see where the friction occurs in between those two, because then you can do something about it.
That's right. I mean, I think about so many people that I dearly love that are no longer here. My grandfather and my father being two of them. I knew what they wanted because I listened to them, but it was so incongruent with how they lived their life daily and what their families thought about them. They respected them, but there was almost a pity too to it because it was a miss. It just missed. And so just don't want to live that way. That's not freedom.
Yeah.
That's the learning lesson.
Ryan, I want to press in a little bit on you talk about, man, I run hard throughout the week. Like
Yeah.
I'm driven. Sometimes I have a hard time turning it off. I think so many people can relate to that. You
For sure.
lay awake at night, you put your head on your pillow and your brain's spinning, you're still trying to solve problems. I mean, the word we use in modern day America is I'm busy. I mean, I'm always busy. And like, if you're not, you just must not be important. So it has become this goal of I must be busy no matter what. Even if I don't have anything to do, I should be busy.
Right.
And so you talk about some of those same traits of running hard, driven, passionate, have a hard time turning it off. And then also you've got this rhythm of 5 to 8 in the morning, it's you time, your nighttime rhythm, a date with your wife, your phone on do not disturb. Like how did you come to those? What lessons have you learned along the way? And where do you still where are still the temptations of,
For sure.
where do you still feel it creeping in, and how do you push it back?
Well, it's creeping in all the time, but here's a couple things that helps out a ton. I treat them as meetings. I treat them as high time church. Like in my professional side, we say that meetings are same time, same place, same agenda, starts on time, ends on time. And so I just take that aesthetic to everything. And I want to be fully present. That's why my phone's off. And so my calendar is understood. We learned this in Strategic Coach. Have free days, buffer days, and focus days. And put your free days in first. So like my calendar is determined. My 2026, 2027, 2028 calendar over the next 3 years, as I pursue my 3-year picture on the road to my 10-year target and my 10-year thinking, it's already known. Babe, I already know what I'm doing. I already know where I'm going. And I've thought about it. I've looked at it and been like, that's important. I don't want to say it's important and not make it important. And so I want to make it important. So I just, set it and forget it. Set the dates and I forget about it. I let it go. And so that's huge. It's so helpful because intentions aren't going to get you there. You got to schedule it. So like my schedule says wake up at 5 and at 6 it says you're home and it says date night. It says all the stuff I'm doing. Even on Saturdays and Sundays, it's like church, 11 to 1:30. Like just blah, blah, blah. Everything is there. It's all there. So I just follow my schedule. I just do what my schedule says because I built a schedule. That's what I want my schedule to look like. That makes it a lot easier. First of all, that just makes it a lot easier. It's kind of like bowling with the bumper guards in. It keeps you from going in the gutter. At the same time, it creates an environment of accountability because you're committed to it and everybody knows about it. I got to share a calendar. My kids got the calendar. My wife's got the calendar. My partner's got the calendar. My integrator's got the calendar. My team's got the calendar. They know what I'm doing. And so they know every meeting I have is as important as level 10. You're not going to get a hold of me. And so, man, that just helps. It makes it a lot funner too, because I've lived so much of my life where I said, I want to do this next year, or I want to do this, or I want to make this happen. It's like, I don't do it. So that just solves a lot of it, open, honest. Now the way I've learned to turn the drive off after work is I schedule workout after work. So at 5:30, I'm working out. And man, that helps out a ton, open, honest. From 5:30 to 7:30, I'm working out. And I just get a lot of that energy out of me. One, it just feels good. I feel better. Winds me down, come home, and then I just hanging out, chilling. It's all about, for me, it's about the process. It's about routine. It's about letting it go, and just everything else is just an issue for the issues list.
I love that. And as a fellow process lover, and the belief that process does create freedom,
It does.
I really, really, certainly, obviously resonates with me. I guess the thing that comes to mind that I hear a lot when people, they ask me this question, but I want to hear from your wisdom, your experience. What about interruptions, right? So you're one of the
Yeah.
few people, in my life that I've known and watched where like literally you had an experience that you almost died,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
so I know you got a plan. I know you got to like, but there are things in life that like sometimes they're. So I would just love for you to talk about that to if you'd be willing to share what
Of
that
course.
was, what lessons you learned, how does that shape the way that one obviously there was no choice in interruption, but how do you
Right.
choose when you're going to be interrupted?
Well, in that instance, I did not choose that interruption. So that was brought upon me, but for a reason that I'm fully reconciled and accept. So, so in May of 2022, I was in my backyard with my son. We had bought a 1960s mid-century modern home that hadn't really been renovated since it was built. And we had torn down a bunch of trees on our property line, and we're torn down this moldy old fence, and we burned it. And I aspirated the mold and some of the toxic stuff that was in the ground, and it created an infection in my right lung that ate a hole in my lung,
Hmm.
and I got a lot of pain. And I was hospitalized for a month. I had to have chest cavity surgery. They cut me open, sawed me open, took my lung out, cut a quarter of it off. The infection went into my spine and it went up to my brain. It's where I wear glasses now. It blurred my vision, created neuropathy, sciatic issues, binding. And so the last 3 years has been this body pain journey of recovering. It's been brutal. And pain is a powerful, powerful teacher.
Yeah.
And so that experience, I forgot to say, I was like 36 hours from death at one point. If they weren't going to be, because they didn't know how to stop the infection. They didn't know what it was.
I
And
didn't
if they
know what
couldn't have
was
stopped
going on, right? I mean, like it was
no,
like, what
no
happened to
idea.
Ryan? Like I just saw you, you were doing
Yeah, yeah,
great. And it's like, wait a minute, like, yeah.
well, it's definitely interrupted my normative coach journey. That's for sure. Um, of getting through the signature program. That's for sure. Yeah. So it's May of 2022. I'm in the early days of talking to Gino about starting eLeap and turning it into an academy for early stage entrepreneurs. I'm hard charging EOS Implementer. I'm just living life. And then I got fully interrupted. I was hospitalized. I couldn't leave the hospital. I was in the hospital for a month. And then I came out and I was a mess. I mean, really, in a lot of pain and a lot of, took my practice from over 25 clients down to about 12. That interrupted all my financial goals. Had to cash in some savings just to get things through. It was a very trying, dark period of time. But what's so intriguing about that interruption is the human you're looking at today and all the stuff I'm talking about that I'm doing and how I'm living. It's all because of that fulcrum moment of my life.
Mm.
So I'm in the hospital. I'm post surgery. I'm laying there and I'm like, wow, I didn't die. Like they did the surgery. They got the infection out. They found some antibiotics that stopped the infection from continuing in my brain. That's what would have killed me. It was like 12 nodules on my head. And I go, okay, God, I'm here. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? I mean, that's been my whole question all the time. Like, if there's an echo prayer of my heart is, Jesus, what do you want me to do? And Jesus was a good model because he said, well, I only do what I see the Father doing. And I only go where I see the Father going. So I'm like, Father, what do you want me to do?
Hmm.
Show me what you want me to do. And it was very, very, very crystal clear, which was take fully serious every single day about everything we just talked about. I could repeat it all, but that's all that. And then it was be completely vulnerable about your journey because everything you've experienced, I'm going to use it for a purpose that's going to transform entrepreneurs' lives. And I'm going to use you as a vessel. And I was like, Lord, do you really want to use me? Like, I'm wildly unqualified, but as people of faith, we know that that's how God chooses people. And so I'm in that moment. Like I'm in that moment in the hospital. Like, okay, I'm just going to fully surrender. I don't understand how this is going to work, but I'm in. I'm in. If that's why I'm here, it's why I'm walking this earth to help transform entrepreneurs' lives. I'm in. Let's go. So, yeah, that's. If I missed something, let me know. But that, yeah, that's
Well, and just kind of the follow up. So obviously, thank you for sharing that, and it's beautiful, and just know you as a friend. I mean, I can see firsthand. That's what I said. I mean, I've seen the fruits of that, and I've seen you live unstuck and alive since. I've seen you live into that. I guess
yeah.
like when we get back to the rhythms and routines that keep us unstuck and alive, how do you discern when you need to be interrupted, right? Like, so that was a forced interruption, right? But now you got the plan, you're on fire, you're on God's calling, you're moving in the direction you feel that he set you. Let's go set captives free. I'm with you, man. I'm locking arms, Ryan. We're going. How do you discern when you need to be like interrupted without being put down in the hospital bed?
Yeah, it's two words, force versus flow. And so a big aspect of my life is water and river and flow. And I just have these mental images of that all the time in my spirit. When I think about things, I know that I am doing the life I'm meant to be living when I'm in the flow, when I'm in the river, when I'm in surrender, when I'm in flow. How to explain that? It's a feeling, it's a gut check, it's just an experience. Like, how do you know when you're in a river? I mean, you know you're in the river, right? Like that's the best way to describe it. I know I'm in the river, I'm flowing. And so I know I need to stop when I'm forcing things, when I'm not releasing things, when I'm trying to make my will happen. When I think that I need to take control of it and force something. Because I think at that point, when I got interrupted, there was a lot of force. There was a lot of like, I'm going to make up for lost days from my previous entrepreneur ventures, and I'm going to prove somebody. I don't want to admit that was there, but man, it was all there. It was all there. And so I was trying to force too much stuff. And when I feel the force, I'm like, oh, what's going on? And so I just stop, and my mentor, Rob Dubay, just asked me he goes, he's so funny. Rob's like, just ask yourself, what's up with that? And I was like, what do you mean? And that's Rob. Like, if you know Rob, like he's fantastic at, he's got a book called Do Nothing. And he was like, just sit there for a second and be like, what's up with that? And so that's what I asked myself. I'm like, what's up with that? What am I doing? And I'll take a walk. I'll sit down. And I'll figure out what's up with that. Now, what I do when I do what's up with that is kind of quirky. Again, I got little quirky things. I audio record myself, and I explain to myself what's up with that. And I literally kind of coach myself. So I just let it all go, and then I listen to it, and then I journal it, and then I solve and resolve myself to committing to not doing that again. And I kind of measure that gain. Like, okay, cool. I'm not doing that again. I'm flowing there. And so wherever I feel the force, I'm just going, what's up with that? And how do I turn that into flow? Hopefully that helps in describing that experience.
So good.
Yeah, it's a great job.
Ryan, we've heard, time and time again, as we have talked with folks, it's the moments that we would all want to avoid. Like a couple weeks ago, we chatted with a guy that, him and his wife had built up a company for a decade. It was his dream job. And then, destroyed the company, had to leave, walk away from everything.
Yeah,
Here you're talking about 36 hours away from death.
Yeah.
And the Lord gives you just the clearest, call them marching orders, call them vision of, man, be all in and live vulnerably. And I think it's just crazy as we look. It's like Ryan was growing up feeling weird. When we feel weird, we hide. We go internal. And then, you come into the light, you start to live out your gifts. You've got these breakthroughs along the way. And then what happens, not that you're coming to the end of your life, but you're turning the crest and you're Now it's like, be vulnerable. Take that weirdness. I mean, how many times you said quirky on this deal? And it's like, I love it. In fact, I mean, I look at you and I'm like, God, I got those same stupid quirks. I'm like, I'm such a weirdo. But it's like, you've been invited now into this place to like just be yourself. And
Yeah.
that's the greatest gift you give to other people. And at the same time, you're experiencing freedom and joy in the way that you were designed to. And I just think that's, I mean, gosh, 50 minutes, of a conversation, you can just see that clarity of like, that's what it's for. And you can't come out of the womb with it. It takes hard knocks. And man, how do we learn to celebrate those times where, we're laying in a hospital bed and it's like, hey, this might be the end. And it's that whole Paul thing of like, hey, if this is the end of me, man, praise God, I get to go home. And if not, praise God, I'm going to learn something incredible from this. And so I love, as you were sharing that story. I mean, one, I'm a little upset that we're 40 minutes in to a conversation, and you haven't even shared about dying practically. Neuner had to bring it out of you, you know.
I don't know how much
But
we're doing on time. There's a couple things I want to say in response to what you just said.
please,
If you
We're
indulge
good.
me.
We're good.
yeah,
Okay. Well, there's a couple things I just missed there that are just really interesting things I forgot about until just now as you're talking. Two things jumped out at me. I'm in the hospital. I'm having this dialogue with God, and however you dialogue with God, like to me, I feel like I can have like a conversation that would take you and I days to have in moments. Like it's this revelatory thing happening, and so I'm surrendering, and I feel flow. Looking back, I feel the river. I feel God's spirit, and it's really crystal clear. I see remember the staple easy button? Remember Staples when they had the easy button? Remember that? Remember
That
that?
was easy. Yeah, that was
That
easy.
big red Staples button. It's easy. And so I see this red button and it's God's finger and he's going, you ready? And I'm like, what? And he goes, it's going to be really easy. And I'm like, what do you mean easy? He goes, we're going to reset everything. And I remember going like, everything? I mean, like everything? And he's like, yeah, we're going to reset everything. And fear came in. I went, oh. And then all of a sudden the whisper of God came in and was like, isn't that what you've always wanted?
Huh.
Isn't that what you've always wanted?
So good.
And I was like, I just started crying. I was like, that's what I've always wanted. And I flashed back. It was like a flashback through my life. And I'm like, oh my God. I saw where God gave me the easy button and I didn't let him touch it. I was like, not yet. Not that. Oh, I got to control fear and control. I want to say I didn't know it was there, but I'm be lying to you. I knew it was always there. I knew there was aspects that was I really going to trust? Was I really going to surrender? Was I really going to let it go? Because most of my entrepreneurial life was really hard because I just made some mistakes, went through the recession, blamed too much of the recession on myself, got in a bad partnership, blamed myself for it. And so God was like, we're just going to make it easy. And so it's funny how things happen. So I'm in this 1-year mentorship program with Rob Dubay through 10 disciplines. And Rob just makes this statement and he's like, Ryan, like sometimes we just make it hard. And really it's just hard, easy. I'm like, what is that riddle? What are you talking about? What do you mean hard, easy? And he's like, well, we make it hard because we don't let go. We don't surrender. This type of life is hard. You're a breakthrougher. You're a frontier, pursuer. You go out and take the risks into the unknown, into the free zones. You're like, that's not going to change. Like you're built for the wild. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. I like that. I feel good. Yeah. Okay. So what is hard, easy? I don't understand. What do you mean? And he's like, well, hard, easy is what I just talked about. Letting go. You can do both. And man, that was like, oh, wow, just another unlock. Okay, got it. And so what Rob always says,
hey, Ryan, real quick, the hard easy is like working hard, but it's easy because you're not in
you're in
control
flow.
or what?
You're in flow. It's love and flow, not fear and control.
And so
I have all these little colloquialisms. It's love and flow, not fear and control. That makes it hard and easy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. I cut you off.
No. That's it, bro. Like that's the that's the thing I just wanted to double click. Like when you were talking, I'm like, oh, I got to tell you about hard easy. And so I create all these little colloquialisms and mental hooks. Keith Cunningham calls them bumper stickers, just things to remember what you've learned. And that's one of them. Yeah, that's been a huge unlock for me. And then having Rob be my mentor, who was, big time one of Gino Wickman's first clients. He calls him one of his Magnificent Seven. And I said, well, then tell me what you learned hanging out and knowing Gino for like almost 30 years. And he goes, it's simple. Whatever Gino said to do, I'd look at my team and go, let's just do that. Let's do it exactly the way he said it. And I went, okay, Rob, whatever you tell me to do for the next year, I'm just going to do it. However weird it is, however funky, I'm just going to do it. As long as it leads me to hard easy. And he was so funny. He goes, okay, let's do that. And so whatever he told me to do, I just did it. Whatever Dan Sullivan, and I look at it like that now. Whatever I read from Dan when he writes a new book, I go, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to do that. And I just go, I'm just going to do that. Because I go, I trust these guys. I know these guys care about me. I know they're coming from love and flow. So I just accept it. And I'm okay with taking that risk. I believe in these people. I trust these people.
Such a good word. Ryan, just a fun aside. I often tell people, like, if they would just, like, even if they didn't bring their brain to strategic coach and they just left using the fillable content that's in there as an example, they would at least 2x in 3 years. If they activate their brain in there, they're going to 10x, but it's just like, it's that good. Like, good is good, right? Like, the easy is easy, hard, easy. I love it.
Well, yeah. And so so really hard, easy is also a reconciling of your head and heart. It's reconciling what you think and what you know, what you feel. We say that business and emotions don't work well together, but that's not entirely true. Our emotions are critical because they're a gauge. They tell us things. My intuition, my feelings are like, I don't know. I should go think about that. I used to go, I don't know. And I just would stay feeling like that.
Hire them anyway.
Let's just do it. Like, no, hold on. Let's think about this for a second here. Yeah. So hard, easy.
It's awesome. There are so many nuggets of goodness in this conversation. So many great resources that you've shared. Ryan, if you had to give entrepreneurs one piece of advice, what would you tell them?
Discover your personal passion. It's the number one reason you're going to succeed. And so you're like, well, how do I do that? Really simple. I'll be really quick. Just jot down the 3 successes of your life when you look back. And then write down the 3 failures of your life. And then ask yourself, what has life been teaching me? You're going to probably get pretty close to your personal passion. Try to get down to like 3 to 7 words. And then lean into it. This is your litmus test. Lean into your number one problem with it. Does it give you energy? Does it give you superhuman strength? Because that's the whole idea, is breakthrough, is freedom. And that is what hard, easy is all about. So discover your personal passion. It's going to keep you going. It's the number one reason you're going to succeed.
Let's go.
So good. So Ryan, obviously a lot of things you're involved with, a lot of ways. We already know you're not on social, but if someone wants to learn more about you or what you're up to, what's the best way to connect with you?
Yeah, so you can go to EOS Worldwide if you're looking at EOS implementation and find my little website in there, just Ryan Henry EOS Worldwide, as far as EOS implementation. When it comes to eLeap, just go to e-leap.com. Check it out. If you're an entrepreneur in the making, wanting to confirm whether you are an entrepreneur or not, understand if you have what it takes, check us out. If you're an early stage entrepreneur and you are stuck and you are frustrated, we built the academy for you, my friend. Reach out. We would love to help you. We're going to give you 10 years of entrepreneur wisdom and mastery in 7 months. So there's that. Love to help.
Ryan, thank you, dude. Love you, brother. I appreciate the way that you model and walk out what you talk. It's awesome to be your friend, and just know that you provided tremendous value today. So keep setting people free, man.
Appreciate you,
Ryan.
brother.
Thanks. Thanks for the
Thanks,
time,
Todd.
man. A lot of lessons learned here from me. Man, you're doing great work, not just helping entrepreneurs to build a business, but to build a life of meaning. And that's great work. It's worth giving your time to. May your tribe increase. Brother, thanks for the
I had a
time.
blast. Appreciate you both.